Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. We have never a dull day in the market, especially here with Nvidia setting a new all-time high, up about 7%, 8% including the after hours, nearly touching $1,200 per share. And I remember a few months ago when some analysts were basically giving a $1,200 price target for Nvidia, and people were saying, "You're insane. How is that actually going to happen?" But hey, that prediction might hit reality here in the near future, especially with the stock split that we have coming up here. There's some very important things that we need to talk about, in addition to Elon Musk, that even gave a really important announcement that has really been beneficial for Nvidia that I think we're being seen played out as we speak. We're also going to be talking about Palantir, of course, continuing to trade sideways, a stock that we've covered in the channel for a long time. So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now pop it up on the screen here. We're going to be talking about Nvidia and especially how this relates to the overall market, because we have some very, very important inflationary data that's going to bring even more volatility into the market, but not as important as just volatility coming into the market. The big thing that we are going to be looking for is for either the cooling or the heating up of that inflation report, because that is really going to change the probability of the first interest rate cuts, which right now is priced in at about a 50% probability for the first cut coming up here in September. This report is going to have a big impact on that probability. Now, specifically talking about Nvidia, we see here the jump here in this after earnings report tear and this momentum is still continuing to influx into this individual stock. And we see specifically as we talk, volume still staying pretty high at about 65 million. And you see Nvidia here right now about at that $1,200 level. Now we've seen targets at this area, and specifically as it hits this new all-time high, what we should be anticipating for the upcoming stock split that's going to be happening. That's a 10-for-1 stock split, which means if you have a share of Nvidia, you're going to get 9 more. That's going to be happening June 7th. We're going to be talking about how this can even bring a lot more momentum and pressure into the market in terms of attractiveness for potential investors. Now, in terms of the global markets, what we're seeing in terms of the indexes, consolidation. And reason why is because, like I said, investors are firmly back on inflation, talking about the preferred PCE index, the consumer price consumer expenditure index. That gauge is going to be happening on Friday. And Fed officials really have sent out a drumbeat, like we've said before, talking about how that this data really must show real cooling of inflation to trigger a policy shift. Now, last inflationary report that we had was the first sign that we started to see some cooling. However, then we had some Fed officials that came out and said, hey, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. If that is going to continue on, if we start to see the first interest rate, the probability for that, if we see a cooling inflationary report, I think we could see Nvidia even having a lot more momentum coming into it. And specifically, a big reason in the positive catalyst that we've seen for Nvidia today is over the weekend, we had Elon Musk from his AI company, XAI. He announced plans to buy Nvidia AI chips for its new supercomputer. And it also announced today, or yesterday, excuse me, they announced a Series B funding round on its social media platform X right here, raising over $6 billion to take their first AI products to the market. So they've raised $6 billion and they say, hey, we're going to be buying Nvidia chips. This is really, really a big catalyst, especially with the fan base that's behind Elon Musk and all the companies that he does create. In addition to that, we also have the stock split that will be coming up. It's going to be coming up here, commencing, like I said, on Friday, June 7th. A big thing that this can cause is anticipation of strong demand. And I would agree 100% about this with a 10-for-1 stock split and 10-to-1 stock split. And that is due to the anticipation of just general affordability. Now the fact that Nvidia's stock will per share be cut a tenth of a fraction, 1/10 of the price that it is right now, the potential for incoming investors, it just looks much more attractive just in terms of its actual price. It looks much cheaper for people that want to get one share, even though not a bunch of change, not like market cap or valuations changing behind the scenes. But however, just in terms of pure numbers and psychology, it's going to look much more affordable, which with that stock split can cause some demand coming into the stock. Now let's talk about PLTR and specifically what we've seen in terms of price action. Today, we see consolidation, trading, basically doing nothing, holding sideways. And I think we're going to be at this pinpoint for some time. This is not necessarily a bad thing. We've talked about this. Holding support at the 21 is important, especially because we do have some critical support levels at the $20 mark. Nvidia or PLTR has been able to trigger some great reversals at the $20. So holding here at the 21, I think, is incredibly important, especially as PLTR has experienced a little bit of a cool off after its earnings report. Remember, with the slight change in its future guidance for the rest of the year. However, that earnings report was actually very bullish and was continuing to set records, and we see kind of the expansion and the explosion of what AIP has brought into this company. And specifically, we've seen numbers, the commercial revenue, commercial customer count is continuing to grow at a rapid pace. With this, you have big deals that are being made, and specifically here with the Oracle deal, really getting involved into the whole cloud solution side of the industry and bringing AI into that market. And we also see just the growing demand for AI, and right now where we sit is really positive for PLTR. And one of the biggest, and the biggest, I would say, criticism right now for PLTR is its valuation. Of course, we know it is expensive. We've talked about this 100 of times probably. However, right now where it sits in terms of PLTR is still continuing to grow as a company, improve upon its balance sheet. We've seen them smashing earnings each quarter. Holding sideways here is not a bad thing because this is actually helping out its valuation and making it more of a value-oriented stock as we speak. However, yes, it's at a high valuation. I'm not saying that it's a fair value right now, but look at Nvidia. Look at all the other AI stocks out there. Right now, they are trading at a big valuation, and that is because, ladies and gentlemen, we're in an AI boom as we speak. And if we see signs of the probability of an interest rate cut, I don't think we're going to see a lot of major indicators that show signs of slowing down. One big thing that we are seeing for Nvidia that is raising concerns, you guys have talked about this in the comments, is executives continuing to sell company stock. And we see right here from the report here that we have the chief technology officer and executive vice president here sold 50,000 shares for a total transaction of over $1 million, reducing the direct holdings of this particular person right here to 752,000. One thing I do want to say, just because we have insiders that sell a stock, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Insiders, and specifically people with large amounts of shares, will sell for a multitude of different reasons. And they could have the shares at a much, much cheaper price for their average cost. So profit taking and things like that, that's not a bad thing. I think everybody has the right to profit take without being criticized that something, big, bad, or negative changes are happening within the inside of the company. So there's many, many different reasons, tax reasons, capital funding, management of wealth, big reasons why people will sell insiders will sell stocks. So that doesn't raise my alarm at all, and I don't think it should be too concerning. Other than that, that's all that I have for you guys. Take care, peace out. I think we're going to see Nvidia cross the 1200 tomorrow. That's my short-term opinion, and I think in the short term, we're going to see Palantir continue to consolidate here for some time until we have some kind of big changes within the market, or PLTR specifically. That's where I sit. Let me know down in the comments, what are you guys thinking about what's happening in the market? What do you think is going to be happening with the PCE data too? Are we going to get another sign of inflationary data cooling, or are we going to see inflation that is staying red hot? Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.